How are you? Healthy, anxious,
Yeah,
or
I'm healthy. I just got the shot, so I should be growing another eye soon, but hopefully I don't get the COVID. And it's starting to come back to normal a little over here, it seems.
can you recall when was the last live concerts for you, especially before the pandemic situation?
Well, if the last time I played live is for the last like 10 years when I'm home, I have a jam at a club every week. As long as I'm not on the road, I'm at the jam every Tuesday night, and I haven't done that for over a year. And before that, I was, I guess, in Europe with Axel Rudy Pell. Um, so I haven't played live in well over a year, but I'm always in the studio recording. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I know that you love and like European audience, right?
Yeah, European
Yeah.
audience is the best. Yeah,
Yes.
I played in Bulgaria many times, and I always loved it. It's such a rock and roll country. Yeah, I forget whether it was Varna or Sofia where the mayor picked us up, and I don't know if you know about this. He had a white Lincoln Continental, and the whole inside was all signed every inch by bands. So he picks you up in the car and you sign the inside of his car, and then you're driving in the city and you see, you know, pictures of bands on buildings, and
Yeah.
it's great.
The name of the town is Kavarna. It's on the
Havana,
Black,
yes,
yes, on the Black
yep.
Sea coast. Do you know the guys from this all-star band Intelligent Music Project in person? I believe you know pretty well Ronnie Romero.
I know Ronnie, yeah, because we were on tour together, uh, and we had a great time. Yeah, he's
And
good. He's a great singer, great guy.
yeah, we're very, very excited to see two musicians from Rainbow on one stage in a Bulgarian project. That's very exciting for us. I believe this is your first interview as a part of Intelligent Music Project. So I'd like to ask you to say, what did you decide to take part in this group?
Well, I got an email from a, a press agent that I know, a published promotions guy, Billy James, and also from Milan, and asking me if I wanted to do the project, and they sent me some songs, and it sounded great, and I'm like, I'm in COVID, there's nothing to do, and now I got this great project, so it was easy. I mean, uh, it, actually, I got an email on Thursday from Milan, and Friday, the next day, we spoke on the phone, and by Wednesday, I finished the album. It went so quick, and it was really nice to be involved in something fresh, and also nothing else is happening. And this, all of a sudden now I'm involved in a great project. So it made a negative situation a little bit more positive, with the COVID.
Yes, lucky you and lucky us for sure. We love your drumming on this The Creation album. Do you have your favorite songs among all included in the list of songs?
Um, I think the story is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's the most
But all the material,
diverse.
the old material, the new material, it's really good stuff. It's really good material, and it's all about the songs. I don't care how good you are as a musician. If you're not playing good songs, it's not going to be good. But Milan writes some great stuff, so it's a pleasure to be involved.
So So, as far as I know, you started playing drums around your 11th birthday, right?
11, yeah.
Yeah. Why did you trade guitar for drums? Why did you switch the instrument?
Oh man, we lived in the city, so all the apartments were close together and drums were loud. So my my parents and my grandparents actually they bought me an acoustic guitar, and they said, "Oh, this is better than the drums. It's nice and quiet." Blah 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 blah. So I didn't really like it, but I started to play the guitar, and they got me a teacher. And the teacher, said, "Oh, you're doing really good." I go, "Oh, great." He goes, after about 6 months, he goes, "We're gonna have a recital. Do you know what a recital is?" I said,
Yes, absolutely.
"Yeah,
I
I gotta
used to
play."
play cello once upon a
Right.
time. So,
So he goes, "Yeah, you're gonna do a recital, and you have to sing." I said, "Sing?" I said, "I don't want to sing." I said, "I really don't want to play guitar, but I really don't want to sing." "Oh, you gotta sing. You gotta sing," right? So I'm like, I'm 10 years old now, and I'm practicing the guitar and singing, and I hate it. And I go like this, and there's all hair in my hands. And every time I would touch my hair was falling out. So I'm a 10-year-old kid losing his hair.
so stressed.
My parents bring me to a few different doctors, and they brought me to this one woman doctor, and she goes to my parents, "Please leave the room." And she goes to me, "Are you doing anything you don't want to do?" I think she thought my parents were beating me or abusing me or something. So I says, "Yeah, I'm playing guitar and singing, and I don't want to sing." And she starts laughing, calls my parents back in the room, says, "I think this is all because he doesn't want to sing and play guitar." So my parents says, "Okay." And I got a drum set a couple of months later.
Ah, yes.
So
Yeah. Have you ever imagined that you're gonna become a rock star in a way? What was your real childish dream? What you're thinking?
Well, when I was a kid, I wanted to be like a professional baseball player. And then the more I started playing music, I wanted to be a musician. And by the time I was about 15, I knew that, you know, music is the way I wanted to go. And I always looked at it very positive, that it's gonna happen if I keep working hard. I had friends that wanted to be rock stars but didn't want to practice, and they wanted to drive a fancy car, so they worked two jobs, and I was just practicing. I didn't have a fancy car. I was just practicing, and get better and better and better. And then there's a saying: the harder you work, the luckier you get. So, I got lucky. Richie Blackmore saw me playing, and next thing I knew, I was in Rainbow.
Mhm. Do you still practice for hours every day, or?
I practice almost every day. Yeah, in fact, I practice now more than I have in maybe 20 or 30 years. Because as you get older, I see a lot of guys that I used to love, and now they're older and they're not playing so good. And I'm like, that's not going to be me. I want to get better and better. I think too many people are like, this is what I used to do, this is what I did, and that's all great, but if you're not good today, to me, what matters is today. Can I still play? Can I still play at a high level? So yeah, I still practice a lot.
You mentioned your affiliation with sports. I believe that sport helps drummers, right? Especially those who play
I think so, but I know a
actively.
lot of really good drummers that can't play sports at all. But
Yeah.
I think I think especially drums, you have to be a little athletic. It's like you're running, but you're sitting still. You know what I mean? The legs are going, the hands are going. So yes, there is a correlation, but not always, because I do know a lot of really good drummers that can't play sports at all. They throw the
Yeah.
ball like a girl, you know. You know.
How do you keep in shape physically? I mean, do you
Uh,
practice any kind of sports? Do you walk a lot or jog?
Actually, I use a thing called, believe it or not, the Bulgarian bag. Did
Bulgarian
you ever hear
bag?
of this? You ever hear
No,
of this?
no.
Yeah, it's like a bag, a heavy bag that you throw around and you do all exercise with it, and it's made in Bulgaria.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yep.
Some guys are doing this with huge tires, right? From trucks, and
Yeah,
they're moving it
they
to
need the
have strong.
Bulgarian bag. These guys, this Bulgarian bag is better.
Yeah. Okay. Now you are at your house at home, right? I see
I'm home.
some at the background, some prizes, plaquettes, or something. Would you please tell us
They're, uh,
what's
they're
this behind
some
your back?
gold records from Rainbow.
Okay. Would you please then recall what was the story? How did it happen that you got the invitation to join the band Rainbow?
Okay. Um, I was in a Long Island band called Samantha, and somebody stole our equipment truck. They stole the whole truck, all our equipment. We had nothing left. So the band Twisted Sister and another band, Zebra, from Long Island, did a benefit concert so we could get money to buy new equipment. And at the sound check, there was a guy named Barry Ambrosio, and Barry was in jail, in prison, but he got a few hours off for good behavior. So they let him out for a few hours. This is crazy. And he comes to the sound check. And at the sound check, Twisted Sister's old drummer, Tony, was asking me to show him something on the drums. So I showed him something. I don't know anything. But this guy Barry was there. So I heard that Richie was looking for a drummer. So a few friends of mine said, well, I know a guy that knows Richie. So I'll see if he'll get you an interview or. And so the guy goes to my friend, well, what's in it for me if I get him an interview? And my friend owned a studio. So he said, I'll give you 30 hours free studio time if you get Bobby an audition. Bobby doesn't even have to get the gig. If you get him an audition, you get 30 hours free studio time, which is very nice of my friend. And so I don't think about it anymore. I'm playing a gig on Long Island with borrowed equipment because we still didn't get our new equipment because the truck was robbed. And after the set, this guy comes up to me and he goes, hi, my name is Barry. I said, hi. He goes, I'm a friend of Richie Blackmore's. I go, really? I wanted to get in touch with him. He goes, well, I'm glad because he's here and he wants to meet you. So Richie was in the back of the club in a little room, and I went back and we met. And he said to me, the first thing he says, I really like the way you play. He says, I hear you're up for the gig in Kiss, because I was like one of the top two for the Kiss gig. And Richie said, look, if you don't get the Kiss gig, I'd like to get together and jam with you. And I said, look, Richie, I was never a Kiss fan, but I was a Deep Purple and Rainbow fan. I want to get together with you no matter what, and let's just jam and see what happens. So he says, great. So we got together a couple of days later, and he asked me if I wanted to join the band, and he said think about it, see what happens with Kiss. So I went home, I thought about it for a couple of days, and I says, I'm not a Kiss fan. I'm a Rainbow fan, Deep Purple fan. You know what I mean? It was Richie Blackmore. So I called him and I said, Richie, if you still want me, I'll do the gig. I said, I'd love to do the gig. And he goes, what if they call? I tell him I'm playing in Rainbow. I can't do it. So I took the gig. And then about a week later, I got a letter from Kiss's manager saying thank you, but no thanks. And it wound up being all good.
Yeah, it says that when the student is ready, the teacher appears usually. So I presume that you back then were absolutely ready to take this
Oh, I was
chance.
ready. Yeah, no, I was always confident in my ability, but you need the break, and some people just never get the break, and Richie gave me the chance, and to take Cozy Powell's place, which is a big deal. Now you're not just getting a gig, you're getting a gig taking the place of a superstar drummer, so you either do real good or real bad. And I did pretty good, so.
Who are your personal heroes concerning drumming?
Definitely Carmine Appice. Carmine Appice, I actually took some lessons from him when I was a kid. And Ginger Baker, not a nice man, but a great drummer.
Yes.
When I met him, he hit me with a drumstick. Not a nice guy, but great drummer. I still love the way he plays. Buddy Rich, of course, Buddy Rich. And there was a drummer from, I don't know if they were big in Europe, but they were very big here, the Young Rascals, a guy named Dino Danelli.
Yeah, I know the name.
Great drummer. And then later on, Bonham and Ian Pace and everybody.
Yes. Do you love to teach students? You
I teach
be
a lot.
Teacher, yeah.
When I'm home, I teach a lot. And teaching is great because it keeps sticks in your hands. And I have some really good students, so I have to stay ahead of my students. You know what I mean? So some of my students are really good players. But I love to teach. I love passing it on to the next generation. And I got kids that I started from little that are big and playing great, and it's like a privilege to see kids growing musically.
Do you believe that rock has a future? Because nowadays it's not the strongest moment for this genre. Many personalities, many great musicians say that the rock is almost dead. We see on the charts mainly R&B and rap music and pop.
Yeah. Boy, was I wrong. When I first heard rap, I said, this isn't going to stick around long. That was about 40 years ago. I don't really know the answer to that, because even the new rock to me is not so good. But I think there'll always be an audience for the kind of music we play with Intelligent Music, and for bands like Rainbow and Nazareth and Asia and Styx, because it's good stuff. And especially in Europe, the Europeans really appreciate good rock music more so than, I'm sorry to say, than the American audience. You know what I mean? The American audience is. I mean, rock is still alive here, but not the same. And just for the festivals, like in Europe, there's so many rock festivals over the summer. It's unbelievable how many. Like here, if you get a festival in New York and then one in the Midwest and one in California, then it's done. But here, you could, there must be over 50 to 100 festivals in all over Europe. It's not like that here, unfortunately. But it's never going to die until we all die. Maybe, I don't know. But I think rock will be around, and hopefully things come in circles. Maybe rock will start to come back. What it might be, and it probably is, that there were just so many better bands back in the day.
Why is that? Why is that? How can you explain this?
If I knew, I'd be very rich. But but you know what? You had great bands in the '60s, '70s, early '80s. Great bands. I don't think there's many young bands that are on that level, and I don't know why. But if I knew, I'd be. I don't know why, but I think the good stuff always rises. Like, you can't keep a great project down. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you could keep average things down, but something that's great is always going to find its way to the masses, I think. I hope.
What do you consider to be the highest point at your career, the most sweetest moments that you recall with love and pleasure?
I don't know, maybe like some of the first Rainbow gigs. Because, you go from playing clubs to now you're playing concerts. And I remember I was doing a concert in Canada. It was like my second concert with Rainbow. And it was in Canada. And the drummer from the opening band came back after the set and he goes, "That was great, man." He goes, I can't wait till I have more experience like you. He goes, "This is only my 7th concert I ever did in front of this many people." And I go, "Well, good for you. This is only my 2nd." But I don't know. The early Rainbow stuff, it was like, I'd be playing and I'm looking around and I go, "Man, I'm in the band with Ritchie Blackmore, that's pretty cool." And but all the bands I played with, I really enjoyed. Black Sabbath. How could you not like Black Sabbath? Blue Oyster Cult, great band. Axl, Rudy Pell, Leslie West. I played with so many really good people that I've been lucky, and now I'm playing with Intelligent Music Project. This is awesome,
Yeah, and Biser Ivanov, our guitarist, is very talented. I like his style of playing very much. And
Who's that? Who?
Biser Ivanov, who's the guitar player in the band. He's very good.
He's great.
Yeah,
I never met him, but he's great.
yeah,
The
he's
whole
a
band
very
is
nice
great.
guy.
He's got it's a whole great lineup. I mean, I saw them do a concert online a couple of months ago. It was fantastic, really, really good. And the guitar player is world class.
Do you think of writing autobiography or book that's telling your story from your perspective?
A few people told me I should do that, but I'm not ready for that yet.
Not, yeah, it's too early, of course, but you participated in different bands, great bands. So is it true that you're easy collaborator? You easily collaborate with different personalities? Because as far as I know, Ritchie Blackmore is not that easy as a person. and his characters. Uh, how do you manage to become a part of this organism in a bands like Rainbow and Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult?
Well, well, it's pretty easy because if you're in the band, that means they want you in the band. So there's already like a mutual respect. And Richie, in the beginning, me and Richie were very close. Like for the first couple of years, we went out all the time. We hung out. But Richie, I'm not gonna say anything bad because he's got to give me my break, and he could be very changeable and he could be moody, you know. But there's a lot of musicians that are moody that aren't great. At least he's great. You know what I mean?
Yes,
A lot of
absolutely.
musicians are difficult. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be difficult, be great. And you know, he invented a style like him and Tony Iommi. To me, those two guys, Richie invented the classical rock kind of thing, and Tony Iommi heavy metal, and you know, and Tony's a sweetheart. Tony's easy. But if you're going to be difficult, be great. You know what I mean? That's the only way people will put up with you. You know,
Yeah.
if you're great, and Richie's certainly one of the best ever. You know, you could hear a Richie, you know, you could hear Richie's guitar playing on a song you never heard, and in 2 seconds you know it's him. You know, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's right. And who is your favorite singer? We're talking mainly about drummers and guitar players. Uh,
Well, my favorite singers were always like Paul Rogers and David Coverdale. You can't go wrong with those guys. And early Robert Plant. Early.
Early.
But now, I mean, you know, some of the new guys, Ronnie Romero, incredible. You know, incredible singer. You know, John Payne, Johnny Gioeli from Axl's band, great singer. You know, I got a guy, Ed Terry, that I work with in New York that is unbelievable. Singers, that's the hardest thing to find, the great singer. You know, and to me, there's so few of them. You know, a singer could say one word wrong, and I don't. You know, it makes me. You know, it makes me cringe. You know, but good singers are hard to find. You know, and I'm glad Ronnie is involved in the Intelligent Music Project because, you know, we did a whole tour together. He was in the support band for Axl Rudy Pell, and so I heard him singing every night, and he's always right on it. And great, as long as it's good music, you know, and that transcends style. You know what I mean? It's like you had Frank Sinatra was great, and Tony Bennett, and there's so many great old musicians that I think probably if they came out today, they would still be successful because it was great. You know, bands like ABBA, I think if they came out today, they'd be still big. And Deep Purple, if they just started today, in 2 years we'd be talking about them. You hear this new band, Deep Purple? You know what I mean? But most of the new stuff to me is just average. Maybe I'm getting old. I know I'm getting old, but I think, like I said, I think the cream rises to the top. You know, if it's good, it'll somehow find its way to your ears, hopefully.
Do you know this new band, Greta Van Fleet?
I think they're okay. I think they're good, and I think it's one of the better new bands, but to compare them with Led Zeppelin, that's a little crazy. Because the singer sings high, they sound like Led Zeppelin. I don't know. Led Zeppelin was the whole thing, the songs, the playing. But they're good. You know, I wish there were more bands like that, actually. It would be good for music, but I don't think they're the second coming of Led Zeppelin.
And what are your recent projects? I know that you're very busy. Besides working with our project, Intelligent Music, what keeps you busy these
I
days?
just did a new album for Axel Rudy Pell.
Is it good?
I didn't hear it yet. I did the drums. It's we released a studio album right when the COVID hit. So we were supposed to tour for it. We were supposed to do 3 tours for it. They were all, excuse me, postponed. So since we haven't played in a while, we decided to, Axel decided to do a covers record. And it's pretty interesting because we're doing from like the Rolling Stones to Tom Jones to just a crazy list of songs, you know, to a Rainbow song, you know, and later this year we're going to do a regular studio album again, you know, with all original material because we don't normally do cover records, but this was just to put something out for the fans during COVID, you know. But I'm always doing something. Thank God, I've been busy.
Would you please say something directly to your Bulgarian fans here that are waiting for you?
Yeah, well, I think that the fans in Bulgaria should definitely come to the show. It's going to be great. We're going to work very hard for them, and we love them, and we hope they love the show.
Love from us to you. Thank you for your time, Bobby.
Thank you.
See you here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.